So if you mind keeping side conversations down for about 10 to 15 minutes, I'd really appreciate that. If not, that's totally fine too.
Keep on talking. And before I even start, I want to give it up for this venue right here, the Charleston, and for having all of us, having all these bands, and all of you guys, and serving drinks all night. Give it up right now for the Charleston right now. You know, I say that playing a super late show with 9 bands, and we're in a place where a lot of people are talking and don't really care about what I have to say. And I still mean that I want to be here. I still mean that I give a shit about what's going on right here in this room and what happens in rooms like this across the country, because the funny thing is, I live a life where every time I'm in a room, it's because I want to fucking be there. And I feel like a lot of people don't live that way. I feel like a lot of people find themselves hating every room they ever go in their entire life. Every time they go to work, they fucking hate everything. How that's absolutely no place to live, no way to live. And how I don't live that way. If I didn't want to be in this room, if I didn't want to speak to those of you who care to listen, I'd fucking leave. But I don't want to leave. I want to talk to you, even if you don't want to listen. This poem's about that. It's called Halloween. Thank you, silent people, for being with me. If I'm in a room with you, that means I choose to be. And lately I've grown more fond of sharing. Yet occasionally I'm quieter because the bravery in the fighter is self-taught, and I'm still teaching myself how to make everything I want appear. Out of thin air, and you can stare at me if you will. As I shake off the chills from these filthy coats. And you have to live the life you chose, because if you don't, you're living half a life. No better than the ghost, and you don't have to die to pass away. I've seen it eyes in the face, under the mask that you create. As your features dissipate, I beg for them to come back. Please come back and collect your soul. The longer you wait, the harder it is. The stronger it is. See, we build these lives around finances. Say we'll get out and take our chances, but before we know it, love, and time passes in the vessel of youth while our feet were planted. But our minds, they were spinning. It was the windmills of the wind. Conducting energy that came so easy, but we wasted working blindly, living shyly, becoming the ghost that walks beside me. And we took that on by choice. Meaning this is something we could avoid. And I haven't been a phantom since I was a boy. But every day is Halloween when you're not the same underneath a mask, 2 holes kept to a sheet. Both sticking out your neck, you're a man-made machine. And I can see the full breath of your fangs and your teeth. You're sitting in a changing room, putting on a different costume, and pretending this new disguise is your identity. And I really hope you change that. Thank you. And it's a funny thing not liking the places you're in every time you're there. And I feel like I'm in a room with a lot of people who are just like me, who fuck up a lot, who make a lot of fucking mistakes, and we put ourselves in situations even though they're going to end badly, and we know they're going to end badly when we get into them, but that doesn't stop what we do. A lot of times we block out what we don't want to hear, much like these people in this room block out what I say. And how I found myself in self-destructive relationships that have ended really badly. And how a breakup isn't something that is really easy for anybody, young or old. And how maybe you didn't end up breaking up and you ended up getting married. And then you realize that I don't actually love this woman at all. And it can lead to a painful divorce. But maybe you didn't get divorced. Maybe you kept lying to yourself and telling them, you know, I actually do love this woman is what's right for me, and you guys have a couple kids, you have 1, 2, 3 kids. And you realize that you have this house, and you have these kids and this wife. And you love them all, and you love all these things, but you don't love yourself. And how when you find yourself, 5, 10, 20, 30 years past whoever you used to be, it's that even if it isn't in a person anymore, and even if you would have survived through all this, there's only one solution when you find yourself that low. And this poem's about that solution. It's called Pelican. When did you odd weather and disease. I'm at dis-ease in my own room, call it a quarantine. Because I can't hold her, so I hold the satire of pretty skies from forest fires, and I'm waiting for the trees to fall and the planes to crash. I'm waiting for my heart to return. But that's not gonna happen unless the world snaps in pieces. You can't balance on broken beams, but I guess the wind has its reasons. Maybe it's for the birds' benefit, but they're flying away from it because they can sense the storm, and the storm's coming towards the pelicans. The eloquence of timber crashing sounds like violins when no one's actually listening. Much like this, we're missing the current tragedy that's happening. But everything is experienced or harvested. The amazing and the hardship, sleep on hardwood or carpet because the bed claims the center, the one I can't hold. So I hold the satire of pretty skies from forest fires. I'm waiting for the trees to fall and the planes to crash. I'm waiting for my heart to return. But I guess that can't happen, and this can be a reminder of what's good and lost. Like a widow with 3 kids and a broken wristwatch. She can't turn back time to when it was on his arm. And so is she felt like me. But royalty does get harmed. She didn't know that he was broken because he always put her first. Hoping it would fix itself or fake it till you feel it. It doesn't always work. He was trapped, cornered, and he was his own enemy. He had hate for himself but love for his wife and family. But it wasn't enough, and the pain overcomes. Rose made him with a brush of a gun, and he stood before the mess of the storm. It was a picture of deception in the frame of the door. And they can't hold him no more. So they hold the satire of pretty skies from forest fires, and they're waiting for the trees to fall and the planes to crash. They're waiting for their pain to return. I spent a lot of time last year trying to realize what's the most important thing about my life. And I realized the most important thing about my life is the same as yours. And yours, and yours, and yours, and all of you people back there. We all have the same thing in common. It's that we're all going to eventually die. And every day we have to wake up in the morning knowing that fact. Knowing that everyone in this room is going to die, everyone we love, and everyone we will ever love in the future. And how you deal with that sick fact that life is this temporary really defines who you are as a person and how you live your life and what rooms you choose to be in. And it actually makes me want to ask all of you quite a few questions. This poem is about those questions. It's called Campfire. Thank you for listening. What's your relationship like with death? Is it avoidance? Do you face it head on, or do you use religions to cope with its existence? Have you ever chased it? Begged for it to grab your ankles? Have you ever said that, not meant it, just for the shock value? Does it make you uncomfortable to talk about the inevitable? Do your palms clam up when I say that we have no control? And the only way we do is by our own hand. But only a weak man can understand that feeling. And the strong-minded knows that this life is fleeting, and the fool claims he wants to live forever. And I promise you that you'll just never be happy. It's the difference between going camping and being homeless. This vacation and unemployment. What we love more than living is not only that. It's just a moment. And then it'll be there on your return, the same way as we left. It's so bittersweet to leave and come back without a safety net. But we will fail, we will fall, and that's better than doing nothing at all. But at the same time, my actions have me looking down on the cliffside. With my life in my own hands. But my palms are empty. My fingertips are cold and I'm faced with the enemy. So I told him about my thoughts with death and how it had a familiar smell. Like campfire in a getaway week. And I saw his eyes in the embers in this hell. It's been creeping up on me, so you can say it was expected. And the trap, oh man, the trap, it was perfected. I said, I know you're planning on getting rid of me, and I'm not going to do a single thing to intercept this. So how about you just hit me with your rap, man? What the fuck are you waiting for? I'm not going to fear something I can't prevent.
at least I won't anymore. I've always wanted a casket completely my own. I'm the only body here who I'm not alone.
I'm face to face with your death. So I ask you, what's your relationship like with life? Is it gracious? Do you give us this time as a vacation from the dirt? Does it make you anxious? How do you pick which one of us you take first? Is there a basis or a timing that we have left on this earth? And ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to ask this. When it happens, is it going to hurt? Thank you. I have one more poem, and for those who can't hear me, come the fuck up here. But I realized I didn't want to die young at all. In fact, I wanted to live forever. This part which one of us is dead? We walk together. I feel like a pallbearer with a crazy face, staring at the ground before it hits you. Because there's a skeleton under mushy muscles that no longer has this weight to lift, because the guilt is in the handles of the casket, and I just can't handle this! They tell me to just grip the cold steel with my beloved that was stolen, and take her to her early resting place with the chest swollen. Strangers paying respects with these funky checks. They always bounce back like refractions of light in the silver shine of that hand in the hand. And I'm not shivering to pick her up. To let her go. It's just too soon to know that everything is too slow. Which one of us is the is it a casualty if I'm in a casket? Dead yet still being amongst the living, what value does this ghost have? Versus I'm either invisible to you or just haunted for attention. A roaming soul with emotional ties to keep me present. Or maybe I'm an apocalypse of a disease epidemic, so hungry for the warm blood. Now my arms are really tired. So I lay myself down in these unfamiliar silk sheets. And as I slowly doze off to sleep, I realize I'm not carrying her. She is carrying me. I'm in the casket I've always wanted. It's not all it's shaped out to be. Because I can see the grief darkens down the face of my wife, who didn't die with me, but I know her took her life. And the pride that used to live in my mother's eyes has turned her sick. No parent should ever have to bury their kid. No one should ever have to bury this. But it's all I think about when our fingers move together. Although you're with me now, you won't always be. Because I made the decision to postpone my funeral forever. I'm the only man inside this illusion. Because I went from dealing with to a deal with death and the devil himself. To send me straight to hell on earth. To give me so much life that I get to watch my whole family die first. And I'll hold every casket the same way. I'll bear the unhappiness